Good morning, class. It is the Monday after 4th of July weekend. I hope you all had a happy and safe 4th of July. Just a few quick things for this week. Due by next Sunday night, the quiz on Module 5. Remember, if you have any sort of technical issues getting those quizzes on time or submitting an assignment, all you need to do is contact me and I'll work out an extension for you. But if you don't do that ahead of time, then I probably will not do that. All right? So due this week is the quiz on Module 5, the discussion on global currency, and you might also want to throw in something in there about Bitcoin and Facebook's new electronic currency. I can't think of the name of it right now, but if you do some research on it, you can certainly bring those cryptocurrencies into part of the discussion. All right. Also due is the final project outline. So really, I just want to see what type of format you're going to use for the outline. I'll make comments on it. It's not strictly graded, but I will look for things like punctuation, spelling, capitalizing those proper nouns, things like that. So make sure you proofread it, even though it is just the outline. Okay. Just a few things about chapters 9 and 10. So the international financial markets. What's the purpose of having international financial markets? All right. It's to facilitate that sort of worldwide trade, right? So if we have international financial markets, it's easier for companies to trade with companies in other countries, all right? Because they do things like if we use the US dollar and you trade with somebody in Europe and they're using euros, all right? So that gives us a basis of exchange to see what our goods are worth in their currency, the euro, all right? Speaking about exchange rates, part of the issues with international trade is that what's called exchange rate risk, all right? And that's the risk you take when you make a deal with somebody in another country and your currencies fluctuate in between the time you decide on a price for your product and the time that final payment is made. So what companies can do is they can go into those international financial currency exchange markets and they can hedge or lay off their risk, and they'll know what based on today's currency exchange rates, what they're going to get back in their home country dollars. Okay. Now the currency exchange may fluctuate in their favor at that time, right? But for most companies, they'd like to know exactly on today when they make a trade what those prices are going to be, and they don't want to take that risk of the exchange rate going the other way and negatively affecting them, especially if profit margins are really tight on the product that they're dealing with. Okay. International exchange markets also facilitate lending, all right, because investors are also looking worldwide. They're looking to get the highest rate of return for their investments. All right, one way you do that is to lend out money. All right, and so the United States interest rates are really low right now for a number of factors. In other countries, interest rates might be higher. In fact, enough higher where it's worth taking the risk to lend money to somebody in another country. So again, international monetary markets help facilitate those types of exchanges because you don't have to look for somebody specifically in that other country to lend money to. You can just go to the international market where those types of exchanges can take place. Again, remember, marketplaces are just an area where buyers and sellers are brought together so they can make deals. All right. So lenders are looking for the best rates of return. Borrowers are looking for the lowest interest rates to pay on the debt. Right. So maybe you can find someone in another country who's willing to lend you money at a lower rate than you can find in your home country. All right. Financial centers are usually located in larger cities, obviously. So the main ones are in New York, London, Chicago, and Singapore. All right, so especially in the age of computers, right, you don't have to be in that financial center to make a trade. You don't even have to make a phone call, right? Because making a phone call involves time zone differences, right? And it's 6 hours ahead of us, maybe 5 hours right now in London. So you would have to get up pretty early in the morning if you wanted to participate in that London trade early on, all right, to be able to talk to somebody. But since most of these markets are open 24 hours a day now, you can do it through your computer at a time that works out for you, where maybe you're dealing with somebody in London and the other side of your trade you're dealing with somebody in Singapore. Okay, electronic markets help facilitate that. All right. On the international monetary system, okay, we're talking again about exchange rates. If you follow the price differences between the exchange rate between the US dollar and say the euro, all right, you'll see that that fluctuates quite a bit. And it fluctuates not only on the trade itself, but it fluctuates based on things like government policy, okay, the amount of debt a nation has, the stability of the government itself, and whatever the inflation rates are in that country. So exchange rates between countries are affected on many different levels. Let's see, in the world, okay, worldwide, the US dollar is the standard currency. Okay, why? Because of the stability of the US government. In many countries, especially developing nations, which your reports are going to be on, the US dollar is actually the preferred currency for those people because they have such high rates of inflation, unstable governments, things like that. So when I've traveled abroad to third world countries such as Haiti or Tanzania, right, they actually want you to pay them in US dollars. You don't have to go to the currency exchange and get whatever their local currency is, right? They prefer to get that US dollar because they can attach a value to it because their home currency might fluctuate quite a bit even from day to day. If you read stories about Venezuela and the high rates of inflation there, people will just fill up a paper bag full of money, hoping that they have enough to buy whatever goods and services they'll need throughout the day. All right, so that's just my little bit about exchange rates. Remember, one reason we have these financial markets is to allow companies and individuals, governments even, to lay off what I would call currency risk, that fluctuation in currency exchange rates from the time that you make a deal with somebody and agree on a price and the time delivery of those goods and services is made. All right. So have a great week. Contact me anytime you have an issue. If you want to get some feedback on your paper or your rough draft ahead of time, that's an especially good reason to contact me if you have any technical issues. All right, so either use that inbox button on the left side of Ivy Learn or email me, tgelderman@ivytech.edu. Have a great week, and I look forward to reading your outlines.